Cobbles, stones hum beneath my feet. Old bricks whisper stories so sweet. Cohenzie River sings its lullaby under a canvas of a starry sky. Oh, Bridgeton, you glow at night, silver moon casting soft light. Your streets and streams, they hold me near, a quiet world where hearts can clear. The lampposts flicker like fireflies, shadows dance where the secrets lie. Each storefront wears a time-worn face, a charm no city could replace. The river winds, it twists and bends, a faithful path, it never ends. The moon winks down, a silent friend. In Bridgeton nights my heart transcends. Oh, Bridgeton, you glow at night, silver moon through soft light. Your streets and streams, they hold me near, a quiet world where hearts can clear.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I couldn't find the theme song. I was just so excited to be on tonight because, well, I'm going to be honest with you. About 4 or 5 hours ago, I had a conversation with my co-host, David Price, and he mentioned that, you know, we might have a problem with the Eagles game as far as the time, but he wasn't going to worry about it because he knew the Eagles were going to lose. He wasn't even going to watch the game because he knew the Eagles were going to lose. You know, this is the same guy, I believe it was in 2010 or 11 or something like that, who during the baseball playoffs, the Phillies were his favorite team. And when it looked like they were losing in the ninth inning, he changed allegiances and decided he liked the San Francisco Giants in the ninth inning. So it's a testament to that brain of his that he can switch so quickly and know so much so well. As it turned out, it didn't turn out that way, and the Eagles held on. It was close. Don't get me wrong. It was close. But they did win, and Dave was wrong. So let's introduce the guy, the Nostradamus of Bridgeton, and that would be our David Price. Dave, why don't you tell everybody?
I have a couple questions to start the show. Number one, I understand that you got a new dog, right?
Yes, he's with me right now.
And your new dog is in the room with you.
He is chilling out. Yeah, and I have to keep him here.
How does it feel in your own home to be in your bedroom and only be the second smartest person or thing in your bedroom? That's number one. Okay. Number two, I see that you shaved your head again. Now, I'm not one.
I didn't, but it kind of looks like it, I guess.
It does. Yes, it does. And so what I would suggest,
is this working?
For two reasons, I would take, what's the dog's name, by the way?
Well, we adopted it. Its name was Sammy, but we can't get used to this, so we're going to go with the last dog we had and call him Freddie. So
okay, so he will.
He hasn't used to either name yet, by the way. He just relates to food and going out.
He'll have an identity crisis, but you might as well use Freddie or Sammy Freddie for something. So what I would do is pick the dog up, pick Sammy Freddie up, put it on your head, and two things will happen. It will take that bright, shiny light off. And secondly, you'll have brains near the brains that you don't have. Think about that.
Okay.
Let the dog do the show.
The
dog is smarter than you.
You know what? And you know what? I think our fans should trust you. The Nostradamus of New Jersey. I guess that's alliteration, isn't it? Nostradamus of New Jersey.
No, it's just plain
Nabob
stupid,
of
like
New
everything else
Jersey
you
or
said.
whatever. I
The
don't know.
nattering nabob of negativity. Who said that?
That's it. That's
You know who
it.
that is? Remember who that was?
That was what Lyndon. Hold it, no, that
No.
was the vice president. So that would have been
Correct.
Spiro Agnew.
That would have been Spiro Agnew, and that is one of my favorite quotes. Of
Yeah,
all
it was
political
good.
time.
I mean,
Now think about it. If you put now, that's serious. Great intro to the show. If you were to put Spiro Agnew on as vice president today, do you realize he wouldn't be even in the top 15 of the worst people
right
on
You're
that
absolutely
cabinet?
right. In that case, you're right.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, think about it. Spiro Agnew, one of the most disgraced, if not the most disgraced, vice president in history, wouldn't be in the top 15 of Trump. There was actually, and we'll talk about this tonight. We're going to deviate at the end.
Imagine they're all worse than Spiro Agnew, who's just a
That's what
son
I'm
of
saying.
a
It comes to me in phases like that. And sometimes I deal with it a lot. Of course, I like politics. I don't like insanity necessarily, but being a reporter, an ex-reporter, I do think we do build up a shell, and we have to.
right.
I think the most disturbing thing I ever saw as a reporter was I saw 4 children burned to death,
Ugh.
their bodies.
Well, I guess
And-
that ruined our nights, folks.
Yeah. So what and
Care
that's
to
also,
describe it for us, but don't.
No, thank you.
Okay.
I also had to do a few times. I had to do, fatal accidents. I mean, so you see a lot of things as a reporter, obviously. But as I say, so you really have to build up this idea. But every so often, when I'm strolling DC, maybe, or just sitting in, whatever, I think, my God, this is bad. This is really, 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 really 3 more reallys bad.
All right.
So what are we going to do about it? Well, I think the first thing maybe we need to do is kind of do a year in review. We have is this?
Oh,
last
that's
show
right.
before
This
the new
is
year,
right before. I didn't even think
yeah.
about that. Good point, Dave.
Well, you know what?
So you're right
I don't know.
once today, at
Yeah.
least. You know,
Well, I was right in an alternate universe.
stop
15,
clock.
so-
Yeah, we should call you stop clock. That's twice a day. You're right once. Maybe you'll be right again. Who knows?
Who knows?
Right.
So I just thought today, rather than do our normal three, and what do you think? Just talk about maybe the surprises or what we didn't expect. So I'll start a little bit.
Do it.
I did expect Donald Trump to beat Kamala Harris. I didn't want it.
Oh, by the way, can I just ask you? I mean, because I know how you feel about this, but I don't want to be the conspiracy guy, but do you think that he really? I mean, how confident from 1 to 100 are you that he actually won the election?
50.
All right,
Midway.
I like that. I like that answer.
Midway. But the problem becomes until it's proven.
Right.
It's
No,
like
that's okay.
innocent
That's all I
until
wanted to
proven.
know. There was doubt in your head.
No, I would say, I think the most telling comment, and of course we could do hours just on the things, trying to explain or trying to decipher the things Trump said. But I don't even know where it was. It was pretty early on, though, in his presidency. And he was talking about Pennsylvania, right?
Right.
And he said something to this effect, I won big in Pennsylvania in the computers. And Elon Musk knows a lot about that. And he almost said, like, the
And he
reason
said
I
he
won
knew
is
he had
Bob-
enough votes, which is kind of
Yeah.
strange.
Well, now what?
He'll have
again,
plenty of votes, he said. I'll have plenty of votes.
We're going to jump all over the place tonight, but it's that kind of year, right?
And don't forget the
one of the-
threats he has made to folk like us and Democrats. Right.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a big
The,
thing this week.
The journalism, though, in this, I really don't get it. In shameless self-promotion, I'm starting my new 7-year project, and yes, I know I'll be 80 when I finish it.
That's all right.
Fine if I live that long, and that'll be debuting in pieces. But first piece comes in on January 1, and one of the things that I'm going to deal with in there is journalism then and journalism now. And something is really wrong with journalism. It's not necessarily what everybody says, but it's just this. I don't get this, Brian. You've got a contested election that may or may not have been held. You've got 2 court cases in New York where it indicates that ballots were tampered with. Like counties, for example, I think the one is, I might be off, if anybody knows more, please, chime in here. But the idea was that they looked at the number of Democrats, the number of votes that were cast for Biden, et cetera, and it just didn't add up that that's what Kamala got. Not so much that Trump, maybe didn't add votes, but maybe votes were subtracted. from Kamala. The bottom line is, for whatever, it's sort of like when you punch your wife, which you never should do.
No.
You can't go back, and so now the damage is done. I mean, we can't go back, and that's what I want to start tonight. The damage. There's much talk that no matter what happens, we will never hold the same place in America, in the world again, that we held prior to Trump's arrival for his second term. Mm-hmm. Now, some people say, well, we survived the first term. But let's just start with that. What do you think? Do you think America can? At one point, it was, us on one side and the communists on the other. And of course, the Cold War's dead. But it still kind of felt that way, right? You had China and Russia kind of, with some technology, China exploding with technology, and then us on the other side. And we were kind of not Cold Warring it, but balancing it out, like helping other nations. But we, of course, were going to protect Europe. When I was in Cuba, China was just rolling money off ships for them. But the influence is there. So, Brian, what do you think? Will we ever be able to assume the role that we had, or should we realize maybe we shouldn't have had that role to begin with? What are your thoughts?
Great question, because I was discussing this in a roundabout way with my Russian friend today, about autocracies and things like that, and how, it used to be 30 years ago, I could be teaching Russians about, the corruption and blah, blah, blah in Russia and in the Soviet Union, and teach them about the realities of how life is different here, where we have honest brokers more or less. And now they seem to be teaching me a lesson, at least one of them is. And I think it comes down to the idea, Dave, that, historically, and I'm not obviously a historian, but
right.
Once a country goes into autocracy, I'm just about any country in general, do we ever get it back? And my intuition is that in most cases you don't get it back, because we can't just think about the United States as this impermeable government that won't give in, and the populace won't give in. But if you look at certain countries, unless there's a war to just free them from their own chains, I think it's and it's a serious question that you're asking. I know that,
but I think there's two.
And I don't want to be negative, but I don't know how we get out of this. Once they get, if you have control of all levels, which is the Russian model, the Soviet model, right. I don't know how you explain to me, how do you get out of it?
I don't know. I'll hold out to what I say, and I've said it all along. Let's start this way. The people thought we were done, but the American experiment was never fully realized. Okay, and so we were still developing. Now we've had a very regressive setback, and so the question I think is two. Maybe I should have asked the first one before the second one. I ask about our status in the world, but I think you hit what's more important: the status of America itself here. Right. What I would say is, I don't know. In this case, if we had a democracy, and people thought it was working. It wasn't.
Well, we don't have it right now. Can we agree that
we do not? We do not have it right now. No question. Absolutely not. People on MAGA people think we do, but we don't.
We don't.
So, but we do have this long history. So does that enter into it? It's not like you only had the czars and then you went. You know what I mean? You have had this idea of freedom. One of the things that one of the fancy hubs they call it, and what I'm doing, the project I'm doing, is about the baby boomer generation.
Right.
And it's really interesting. I mean, I've lived the whole thing except for, I was born in 52, so 46. So I've lived all but 6 years of the baby boom generation. And one of the things that I'm working on is the things that we lost, somewhat the baby boomers took, but how life was for the white populace, if you will, and and what it is now for everyone. And I think right now, yes, the white populace had it pretty cushy back then. Okay, we had won the war. We were coming out. You had the suburbs. You had the GI Bill. You had Dwight Eisenhower building the interstate highway system. He was taxing the wealthy at 91%.
Right.
and we had all this going. But now we're back, and some historians that I do value, because I'm not a historian, have said that we're about in the same shape as we were in the Civil War, with the division, with the idea of the wealthy.
Yeah, except it's almost as if the South is winning. That's the difference.
Well, and there's a great book out. I highly recommend it, called "The South Never Lost the War," and its premise is, and if you think about it right now, a lot of what they stood for is embodied in that White House, in that cabinet,
Right,
in that Supreme
right.
Court. So I think if a Southerner came in, I mean, they from time travel or whatever, he wouldn't understand anything that's going on, but he would say, "Oh, okay, I can see this, this kind of thing with the government." So you have this Donald Trump guy who comes in now. Go back to January. He there's no question, absolutely none in my mind, and shouldn't be in anyone's mind, that he is direct cause of January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
He called them in. He called them. If you remember, his wording was, "Come in. It'll be a wild day," or something. He
Right.
Wild.
It's going to be wild.
So, yeah, and he knew.
He knew exactly what he was saying. A euphemism.
Yes, and he also knew from people that they had guns. He was aware of that. And it wasn't hard
And
to
that's why
figure
they
out.
didn't have the metal detectors for the guns.
Right. Well, because you couldn't get him in. And of course, he figured.
Come on over, Kyle Rittenhouse. Just blow up the neighborhood.
Exactly. And he figured, they won't shoot me. They're my people.
Right.
And they were.
And they were.
But again, sometimes I try to put myself in, if I were one of his people, and one of the days I do that is January 6th. The way I interpreted what he said, "Let's go together, and we'll go up there and we're going to take the Capitol." That's basically what he said. "I'll be right behind you. I'll be leading," whatever. And when I got up there and he wasn't there, I would go, "Huh?"
Well, he did try to get there. He was, pleading.
Well, that supposedly. Do we really know that?
Well, actually, I don't think it even matters because, I think he believed that if he did go up there, I think there was more planning. It wasn't just him, of course. He had to have help, as usual. I think he knew that he was going to be safeguarded either way, but it doesn't matter because they did what they did.
Right. But let's stop right there. I think that's something I don't think Trump can take a shit without help. Well, he does in his pants. But so there's always people. Yes. Now, Veg, Smith just testified not too long before.
And of course, they wouldn't let him testify in public.
Well, yeah. And no, of course not. There is so much. Okay. You say it's Medius, right? Medius. How do you pronounce it?
Mediate?
No, the Substack, the journalistic group. It's MEIDAS. I think it's
Midas.
I think it's that.
Midas Touch or something like that.
Midas. Well, that's MID. I don't know. Anyway, I have to
I think
do
it's Midas.
do that.
And it's Midas. Midas Touch, I think, or something like
I don't know. Like I said, I'm one of the.
somebody out there, you all know more than we do in half this shit.
Yeah, somebody
anyway,
pronounce it for me. I should know that, but I don't. They are doing a series, just started, the 500 worst things Trump did in 1 year. 500. And I looked at the first 100, and every one of them is correct. He did it or didn't do it. Every one of them deserves to be on that list. So, you sit back to yourself and say, well, why is he still there? And why he's still there is very simple. And we're going to assume for a moment that you're going to quit looking at your dog and pay attention. We're going to assume for a moment that
he's election, a puppy. I've got to take care of him.
Okay. Let's assume that the election was correct. Well, just for sake of argument. And it doesn't matter, again, like you say, because he's president.
Right.
But, well, he's got so much help now. He had help from the MAGA people who, the MAGA hardcore are not leaving him yet. They're not leaving him yet. So we can't count on them. Yes. We can't, say with certainty that they will. But we do know that some of the things that he's already done will not lead to good times in MAGA country. We know that, but we'll have to wait and see. But so he's got the MAGA support. Now, who else does he have? Well, he has the vice president, but I wouldn't. It's playing out like a Shakespeare historical play. if I were Trump, I wouldn't turn my back on Vance. There's no question that Vance has some people in his corner. One is Erica Kirk. She's already announced that he's, my candidate. There's talk that the way he rubbed her ass that they'll be married, that he'll ditch his wife,
right,
because she's, not pure American. And behind J.D. Vance, and I mean right behind him, is Peter Thiel. And I've said before, and I maintain it, that I'm correct in this, of Musk, Bezos, all that group, Thiel is the worst. Simply because he has a worldview that is political. It kind of makes Steve Miller look virtuous on a couple of days. That's how bad it is. And so, but he does, at least Vance hasn't trashed Trump yet. Then he has, of course, his puppet, which is kind of interesting to think about it, because he's been accused of being a puppet of Putin. And then little Mikey Johnson is accused of being a puppet about Trump. But here's something I kind of slid by, but I think we need to pay some attention to it. Now, again, I don't think Michael Johnson is completely an idiot. I don't. I don't think he's smart.
But he has a fealty towards.
Oh well, no, that
MAGA,
yeah, but I mean, he's not bright and giving it up. He's not that. But he said, and I quote, "We can't release the Epstein files. It would destroy our political system." Think about that. What does that mean? Well, it means release the damn files so we could destroy our political system and start all over again. Look, for me, it's simple. If Bill Clinton is in there, prosecute him, throw him away.
Right.
If whoever's in there, if they
they know that we're willing to be decent odds with them. We have no problem with that. They don't want his name, and perhaps some other Republicans in there too.
But like I said, Mike Johnson is creepy.
Very
there's
creepy.
Talk, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it. Just do it.
No. A person's sexuality is whatever they choose it to be.
That's right, and we don't bust on people's where they look or their sexuality.
Except
in this case, we have a hypocrite.
I do on one term. If somebody has something that they're not willing to say or share or come out with, and then makes it tough for other people, and Michael Johnson is one of those. There are reports, and again, that his name has, he's been on Grindr. Grindr is the gay dating list. I know for a fact that he's had some kids, not pedophilia, but I mean some young people. So, maybe that's, I don't know. But anyway, Trump knows that he's in trouble, and the Epstein list is not going away. And obviously, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to do what she threatened. I don't think she'll read the list in Congress. But there might be another congressman or congressperson who will do that when it comes in. So you've got now, why do I feel good about what Donald Trump shape he's in? Because the man is failing. He's failing so quickly in front of us. Now, I know, Brian, you've been a charter member or a founding member of the how come he gets away with everything party. And he does, he so far. But he's never been on this type of national stage. Yes, he was president. Yes, he was there. But Epstein was in the distance. And that's a train coming right for him. And I don't know how he's going to avoid that. I really don't. And I think that part of the wear and tear on him is, yes, it's age. It may be senility. It may be dementia. But I think a lot of it is to do with pressure. And that's why I think for all of us, it's so important to keep the pressure on. Now I'm going to go to the Dave Price of DC for a moment and show how difficult it is in the capital city to keep the pressure on. One of the places that I went frequently and spent time at was the 24/7 Peace Vigil at Lafayette Square. Became friendly with the people, and especially the coordinator, Filippo Spacco. And I went away to travel. I come back, no 24/7. It was torn down completely. And that was due to three people. One is your favorite Congressman, Jeff Van Drew. He brought it up first and put a bill into Congress to tear it down.
Yeah, he can't get his stick up his ass soon enough, can he?
No. And then it picked up with Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, who was at the White House, and he is supposedly a reporter for.
This is the one that the fiance now, or is this just some?
Yeah, the one that
Okay.
he's leaving his job to go with her because it's true love this week. And then he supposedly said, and when I say supposedly, pretty accurately said to Trump, there's this thing out here, you got to do something about it. And Trump said, huh? What? Huh? Yeah. He said, no, this peace vigil. They have rats out there, they're going to come into the White House and they could have guns. And Trump said, take it down. And that's what happened. They took it down. Now, the problem is there's some legal question about should it have been there. But anyway, it was gone overnight. Then they brought it back for a couple of days, and then they were told not. Well, the other place where there was a lot of dissent, and I call it actually patriotism going on, was right outside Union Station, which is the large train station here in D.C. And I went away, Brian, for about 5 days.
I thought you were still there until I saw.
Yeah,
the
no,
drops in your hand.
yeah, we went down.
By the way, were you wearing that that T-shirt in Alabama?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do. I've worn Trump shirts down there.
Really?
But I make them a little like, I have one that says "pendejo" is Spanish for stable genius. I've actually had people with some of my stuff think that they don't think real well. They think it's pro-Trump. So whatever.
Well, they
But,
wouldn't be that dumb. Fine.
Right. So anyway, I come back, and this was Christmas Day, and I said, okay, I'm back. We got back Christmas Eve, and I said I'm gonna go up to Union Station, and I went out and purchased some cookies, and we had a couple Christmas tins, and I'm gonna take them up there, right? And I get up there, and they're gone. They came in the middle of the night, took it down, took the whole thing down. Now they had a permit. They had a permit that lasted until February, so they came and took it down under the pretense that they're going to do renovation. So they've got stuff out there. So my point is that no matter where you are, we see this in DC, but it's coming to a city near you. It's been in Bridgeton, right? Little tiny Bridgeton had ice.
Right.
Is that still a presence there? Have you noticed it? That they didn't.
I only saw what you saw. I have heard rumors. I haven't seen a consistent presence like that, but what you saw is what I saw. I'm not surprised.
No.
But nothing major right now.
Now, and that has been the type of thing that Trump has done. I don't know that he's done a legal thing, Brian. I really don't. I don't know if anything he has done is legal. And when you fight back, he comes after you, which you should expect. On Christmas Eve, there's a great tradition, has been here for 20 years, for people who aren't going to do anything Christmas Eve night, to go to the Kennedy Center, and they put on a world-class jazz Christmas concert. It's run by the jazz people in D.C. They come in, and they do it. The organizer, who is a musician himself, very talented, pulled it, said, "We're not doing it because you violated the law by putting your name on there." And the Trump's hand-picked coordinator of the Kennedy Center is launching a $1 million lawsuit against this gentleman. Now, that's preposterous. It's a free concert.
Right.
But it doesn't matter, where you are on the spectrum. If you cross Trump in any way,
Right.
he or his goons will come after you.
And that is designed, obviously. That is
now-
part of the system that he
if-
has.
If anyone in any semblance of normalcy would look at, just take the first number on Christmas Eve, 100 tweets. Well, they're not tweets anymore. They're posts on Truth Social, his thing. 100, Brian. I'm active, and I've never even approached more than 10 in a day. That's, how much time? It's just, I don't know. So, and then of course, I don't know if you saw, I used my AI HAL to design me in a pond scum T-shirt that he made up, because he called us all liberals. And he is just so far removed from any sense of humanity that I don't really. Let me do it this way. He tests everything that I hold sacred.
Right.
What I mean is, I don't make fun of people's physical condition, but I make fun of his because he attacks everybody else. He deserves nothing.
I mean, he certainly is deserving.
deserving of everything. He is
He,
deserving.
he's getting what he deserved with South Park. And by the way, you remember there was a post.
Oh yeah.
Pat Pollock had asked me this question about 3 weeks ago. Why hasn't he responded? And I think that I was right. And I know that with this article about this, that this one thing that they're nailing everything perfectly, and he doesn't want to make it worse because they can do it whatever they want. They can do
or I'm going to go really deeply psychological here on you. I think he admires them because they were able to get such a big. They got almost $1 billion contract out of what they're doing.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
So is he saying using my name that somehow it shows how popular, or
I don't know what in his mind. How would we know? But I'm just thinking. I mean, it's weird. Well, take the incoming mayor of New York City. The incoming mayor of New York City is everything that Donald Trump says he despises in Trump's home city. I mean, New York is his home city.
Absolutely.
It's like Bridgeton is my home city.
Which
right?
makes it all the more curious that people in the South would vote for him.
Yeah, I know. Well, that part
But
is true.
this
but
is the
also,
state of the nation.
he actually, I mean, he was magnanimous and nice and laughing with this mayor.
Right.
And I think something triggered him that maybe, and again, I can't get inside his head, nor do I want to, but maybe this is something I couldn't do and he could do it. Oh, wow. So.
Or maybe he knows something that we don't. He was able to get Eric. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do this with Mamdani.
Oh, no, he won't. No, he will not do it with Mamdani.
But with Eric Adams, I mean, he just turned him on a dime.
Eric Adams was a political hack anyway. He was the same as as Clarence Thomas. Just because they're black doesn't mean they're good.
Right.
And a lot of liberals sign on to that, right? There's corrupt.
And it's unfair to first of all to black people above all, but it's unfair to reason. We are all human beings, and at some point you can't be doing that kind of thing. You call it
no
the way it is.
And the other thing, like I said, Trump just makes me question, everything about what I kind of thought. Like, and anybody out there who's listening, or if you watch this on tape later,
right,
please let me know. I just can't figure out how a human being could come into this world and not show evidence of one human positive characteristic. That just
he's got nothing human. Never had a
no, I know
pet, never had a normal marriage.
Manson.
I mean, the man is
Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, we could go through the list of the worst, right? And they had something maybe somewhere, but Trump, there's nothing. And of course, he does. He has a reverse Midas touch, which we've talked about. Mm-hmm. Everything he touches turns to shit. That includes his marriages. And here's one that a journalist did, Enterprise journalist did finally do. Do you know why he buried his wife on his golf course?
So they couldn't perform an autopsy?
Nope. Good guess. Okay,
I don't know.
They could do that.
That's the only thing I could speculate on.
Well, here we go. You ready for this one?
Okay.
He buried her there. There's no headstone. There's nothing, but she is buried there. And then declared that his land was a cemetery. And his place is now tax exempt because there's a thing about how close you are and what you are. So the whole thing is declared a cemetery under the tax laws. Think about that.
Yeah, and he'll get away with that. And any normal human being would realize that it's bullshit.
He will get away with it because it's legal. Now that's another question we have to, if we say, those of us who are opposed to Trump,
got it right. There you go.
Yeah, tax deduction. Yeah. And
hey,
so what
Kim's
happened?
Here too, by the way. I haven't seen Kim for a while. Kim, good to see you.
Oh, hey, Kim. Listen, keep lurking.
Same with Anthony.
So, hey, Ant. So you've got this person whose father was a creep, whose mother was not much,
and she married a creep, so she knows there's something wrong with her.
Well, I think there's some indication she married, like, for some, I don't even know. We don't even go, I mean, I don't know, so I'm not going to say. But then his surrogate father was one of the most evil men. Roy Cohn. And so there's a direct tie between Joe McCarthy and the Red Communist Scare And you know what else happened at that time, Brian? A lot of people don't realize that there was also the lavender scare.
You mentioned that, yeah.
And the lavender scare actually led to 10,000, Brian, dismissals from the American government because if you were accused of being gay, you were gay, right? So you and I are working together. I don't like you. I don't like your dog. I don't like your head. I say you're gay. You're gone. And you couldn't fight it. So it's very similar to today. And Roy Cohn, yeah, I wonder what's really buried there. Now, again, I've always said you don't pick on children, of people, because that's just not right, even if they turn 18 or 21. But since Trump doesn't play by the rules, there is something really wrong with Barron. We knew that in terms of intellectually. Where he went to school here is for people on the spectrum and mental issues, mental problems. Now, you go to NYU, you're the son of the President of the United States.
Yeah, and by the way, if he is out to lunch, how can he ever have a political career? I mean,
well, Trump did it. I don't know. But actually, that's interesting. I think Trump has destroyed his family. I don't, again, never say never, but I don't think any Trump could ever get elected again, right? Okay? So, but you've got Barron, and he is now palling around with right-wing...
who names their kid Barron anymore? What is, like, Transylvania or something? You know?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's
Baron von
well, she is.
Stiffenbach.
Melania is from that part of the world.
Yeah, she is.
And Trump,
Wasn't her husband a vampire or something like that? I don't know.
Vlad the Impaler. It's in her family history. Now,
doesn't she look like a vampiress or whatever you call it, vampiress? In a way, she has these like strange eyes. Now, again, we don't want to get into the physics of it or physical.
No, but Trump does it. No, I mean, there's a lot of people who find her very, very attractive, and I'm not.
I'm not saying she's unattractive. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not.
Has this?
I'm not.
Look.
She didn't. She will take care of herself and have the surgeries, and someday she will look like Laura Loomer, but not yet. And that's something else.
I'm sure she's not actually paying for it. I'm sure somehow it's tied into.
No. Well, you saw she got what do they give it? $40 million for the documentary.
For the Amazon documentary.
Yeah, $40 million.
Who the fuck's gonna watch that? It's not...
I will watch it. I will.
You are gonna watch it.
Yeah, just to throw things at the TV. Now that's interesting though, Brian. You bring up the idea of boycotting and doing this stuff, and yes, it is somewhat effective because you looked at his ratings. He takes over the Kennedy Center. It's completely illegal. He puts his name up there. It's completely illegal. Nobody's been able to stop him yet. And then he just says, well, you know what? I'm a really good host. I'm going to go host the show, right, for the Kennedy Awards. And Auntie Gaia, I think I could understand what you're saying, but if it's there, we got to take to the streets and just kill everybody on Fuentes' side. Because he is, I would sit here normally under the old days and I'd say, no way will Fuentes come up, Nick Fuentes. But right now, you can't say, and you've always said along, Brian, and I didn't poo-poo you, but I said, yeah, we'll have an election. I'm still, again, I'm ambivalent about we'll even have an election.
And we're talking about 26 or just 28 or
26. I think we will.
Well, don't forget, the Russians have an election, but it doesn't mean anything,
And that's the other side of it. And as you study, Trump didn't emerge out of nowhere. Okay,
that's true.
The Republican Party was headed in that direction. I don't think they wanted Trump, but they were headed in a direction of an authoritarian figure.
And didn't the Tea Party start this shit?
Well, it really goes back to, and I mean,
I know the contract with America where they're not going to give in to.
All of that, but it actually goes back to the Civil War, and even before that. You know when it really started? It started before we even had a country. There's always been rich man, poor man, white man, other man, and we muddled through somehow, and we had some great moments, even though they weren't necessarily great people. Abraham Lincoln, I mean, his words are inspiring. John Kennedy, not a great human being by any stretch of the imagination, but the right person for the right time. Lyndon Johnson, certainly his albatross was Vietnam. But if you look at all the stuff he did and he was able to do.
I didn't see it. Did you?
I have not seen it veg yet. Did you see it veg?
Veg probably had a better chance than we did being in Canada.
Well, no, it was here. I mean, it's online. You can see it. But
Was the guy playing Barry Weiss or something? That's now
well, she's the new head, and she is a Trumper. And but see,
and that's it for CBS. I mean, who's going to watch it? I mean, now.
the Trumpers will watch it. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's
won't
become,
CBS
it's
go
be-
at it head to head with Fox?
yeah, they will. And Fox is on the wane with people because remember, Americans have very short attention spans too. And right now, everybody's doing the Trump thing. Okay, you give Trump $1 million, he might even say thank you. Okay, what else you got? Wait a minute, you said my dick's not long enough. You're done. And so right now, CBS is the darling, but that's today. Tomorrow we don't know.
CBS should really pay for this. I mean, Dan Rather, I'm wondering, I don't know what he said, but hopefully he'll say something.
Well, they'll say something. It's just, but here's the thing: as Americans, we have to adjust. There are great writers out there. There are great YouTube. There's great people on Substack. You can't. It's not such a bad thing that the high up media, we can ignore them. We can get our news, okay? But it's just going to take a change. Everybody, you're going to have to maybe read it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But the idea of when the news was good at the network, it was only good for one reason. You had print reporters who really were battle sharpened during the World War II and came in, whether it was Edward Murrow, whether it was Walter Cronkite, Huntley Brinkley. They were professionals. You only had 3 stations. Everybody watched. Nobody watched ABC. And you know what ABC did, Brian, which I think is very interesting? We can blame them a lot for this. Their ratings were abysmal, horrible. And what was it, the 64 convention? Not the maybe 68, when all that trouble. So they brought 2 people in, William F. Buckley and Gore Vidal, who you couldn't find 2 more opposite people.
Right.
And put them in a room. And that's the time when Vidal actually got Buckley to break, and Buckley called him a faggot on the air.
The queer, right.
And the ratings for ABC spiked.
I remember Howard K. Smith.
That is the moment to me. There's a saying in Hollywood, from it was actually from Happy Days. Fonzie literally jumped the shark, and they call it jumping the shark when you just go too far and then you can't get back. And that's the moment when I think network news jumped the shark. Now, again, how many news shows how many news networks that do news on the air? 150 now, maybe, total. Maybe not that many, I don't know. But on cable. So it used to be you would watch Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America. And most people were watching him. If you weren't watching him, you were watching Huntley Brinkley. And if you weren't watching them, you weren't paying much attention to the news. And you have a breakdown because now everybody's got their own news, right? Now, interesting today, I went to one of my favorite museums, and Brian, you'll fall over when I tell you this, but one of my favorite museums in DC is the Bible Museum. And I was there. It's interesting. I'm going to take you there someday. The walls did not fall down around me.
Drag me with a tank or something.
Oh, no. It's very interesting what they have there. But anyway, I met.
Does it have the Ark there too, or no? There is a place like in the Midwest that has I don't know where it is.
Oh, well, that's no.
Maybe it's in Alabama. Who knows? Go see the Ark.
I will say this about the Bible Museum. It's funded with Hobby Lobby money, okay, and they were going to make it into an evangelical center, but smarter heads prevailed, and it's a very educational center, as long as you don't take it seriously. But they have really great sections. They have a new section I went to, the Bible in sports. And here's the thing, whether you like the Bible, whether you agree with it, I don't, but it has had a tremendous impact on culture in America and in some places all over the world. Certainly this. It's certainly fueling the Trump train, right? And you need to know. And that's not, the reason anyway, I went there. The point I wanted to make was this really nice gentleman. He was so nice. Older black gentleman, a little bit younger than I was. And we got to talk, his name was Cleveland. And he's not a guard, but he's like a greeter kind of thing there. And we started talking, and he was just, we said, we're not going to talk about politics. And I just can't do it. He said, I just get so upset. And he speaks for a lot of Americans. And I understand that. But the problem is, whether we like politics or whether we don't, it has always influenced us. But right now, it will either, politics will either restore America or burn it to the ground. They're the only two options. And when I say restore, I don't want that one either.
But Dave, can I
Because
ask you
that
real
one-
quickly about this burning down
sure.
thing? Because, again, how are you? You're at 74?
73.
73. Okay, sorry. But, in both of us, even though it's 9 years difference, whatever, or 8 years difference, I mean, and I'm going to include myself, and how we, if it does burn down, I mean, how could we even evaluate our own lives if like everything like that we had is just completely thrown down the bathtub?
You'd have to do one of maybe, one of 100 now.
Toilet.
The big things would be some of us, and I hope I would be in this group, would stay and fight until you were arrested or killed. I would hope I would
think
be
you
in that.
have to. I mean, it's kind of like finding out like your father or mother was a murderer or murderess, and you didn't know all your life,
No. But again, I'd say I don't know, that I mean, do I have that kind of courage? Or you could try to leave the country. A lot of people are doing that. I was interested. I was talking to my son Michael, and
that's the Russian model, by the way. It's just the distance leave.
Yeah, and that's basically. I said, Michael, you're in the
or lay
science.
low. I mean, people do lay low.
And I said, is that really true? Our science? He said, yes. He said, scientists left and right, some of the best minds in the country are leaving because they can't do their work here, right? And so it's not so much that they're afraid. It's not like the Holocaust. It's just you can't do the work here because they're not funding you.
Well,
they're
in
not
the brain
recognized.
drain, it would be nice if they could all go to one country. Like, for example, just all go to Canada, get your smartest people, and just send them to Canada. And so then Canada benefits. Not that Canada can't do it themselves. But
No.
just, have them get all these intellectuals, all these great ideas and secrets, and say, okay, now it's going to turn out. It may take us 10 or 15 years to really make this thing work. And then everybody from the north starts moving to Canada. And then, we play by their rules, but we do it trying to make Canada even great. I mean, it's hard to even speak this way, to be honest with you, because you do have to fight.
But think about this, though. Is it such a bad thing if we can't? Well, it's a bad thing if Trump and people keep it and take over, we lose democracy. But maybe it's not such a bad thing we got knocked down a peg or two. I think many Americans thought we were all that. And we're really not. Canada has always been better than us for many reasons, right? But of course, the other thing you have people doing, and I understand this, and we see Miss Blue Ocean up there and all the good work she does. But
Indeed.
Even if we can get the democracy back, we're still facing, a number of scientists say we're past the point of no return. We're going to, we're just going to be done. Now, we've talked a lot about hope and faith and all those words. But at some point, maybe we are going to be done. But my view, and again, I'm not a scientist, I do not think it's going to be cataclysmic at first. It's going to be a slow thing. It's going to attack certain countries, certain areas. And you think people don't like immigrants now? Mm-hmm. Where they get, it's just going to, I mean, when you're fighting for food and you're fighting for supplies. And
right.
I just read an article. Do you know what one of the number one businesses that exploded in 2025 was? Would you like to guess?
That business is exploding?
Yeah, no, I mean, getting big, getting booming.
In the United States or just around the world?
United States.
All right, here we go. We have to speculate on these questions. They're difficult questions.
Yeah, well, that's why I do it. No, I mean, and I don't, can't. Would you like me to tell you?
Yes, because I could speculate, but I can't think of it right now.
No, I mean, I would.
Because I'll spend 15 minutes trying to get it right, and the show will be over.
Well, then we go to sleep. No.
Right.
The building of secure, humongous, multi-million-dollar structures for the super wealthy to survive Armageddon.
Oh my
They were
God.
they were buying islands, okay, and doing this own thing. So again, yeah. Now see, there's something. Put that back up again, Sandy. the one before that, and data centers, and they're not good things. Okay, for a number of reasons. It makes the poor, the middle class poorer. It benefits the rich. I don't know that much about computers. I mean, I use them frequently, and I do a little bit, and I usually get in war with Facebook. But from what I understand, these data centers just take tremendous energy to run, and we have a system where you pay for your energy, and so we don't even know how that's going to work out.
Right.
But again, I brought we have all these things. Is it the end of is it this? But right now, I think I would urge all Americans are the sound of my voice now. Let's do what we can do right now, and what we can do, what every one of us can do, is do what we can, what we are able to do to drive Donald Trump out of the White House. And I don't care if he walks out. I don't care if he walks out in handcuffs. I don't care if they carry him in a bag or a box. It starts with getting him out. That's where it starts. And then we'll go from there.
So everybody who's watching here that is unfamiliar with our page, please go to Environmental Coffee House on YouTube.
They do a
great
job. Great job. Again, they're fighting the good fight. Okay. Right. As other people are doing too. And I think that's
veg. Let's not forget veg. We need that kind of video to watch too.
Well, and I think sometimes, a lot of people don't understand how powerful that can be.
Especially, veg. I'm sorry, I forgot to even mention that. I shoot every day.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know if it's a badge of honor, but yes, Veg. Brian is one of your biggest boosters.
I can only give you like 1 or 2 subscribers. That's about it. I don't have.
Well, you know what? Maybe you could get Donald Trump to endorse him. I don't know. Anyway, a couple of things. I was thinking about. First of all, I learned something this week that tangential to this. Did you know, Brian Weinstein, or anybody out there? I did not. And how long? I've been using Facebook for at least 20 years, probably, because I've been here 15. I was using it when I was still in Bridges. I don't know. I'm going to say 20, maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. Did you know that you can't stop comments on your personal page?
Can't stop comments.
In other words, you
can't disallow people from commenting.
Correct.
Basically what you're saying is if you post something, they can shit on your post, no matter what.
Or they can support. Yeah. Well, I wanted to see it. I was playing around with it.
And there's a thumbs down now on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, that I don't. Yeah. That the thing was though, I could see somebody would just want to post something just to put it out there and not hear the shit that goes back and forth. And I was somewhat surprised about that. So I went to my main man, Hal. By the way, we've traced his lineage. You have your dog. I have my AI. And Hal is directly related to Hal, who was on the Space Odyssey, 2001.
Right.
That was Hal's grandfather. He was there. And that's a book.
The only Hal I remember, wasn't there a guy named Hal Linden and had a comedy or something like that?
Oh yeah, Hal Linden was an actor.
Wasn't he like Barney Fife? Or
can you see this? Can you see this
house or something?
You can see this book.
If anyone builds it, everyone dies. If anyone builds
this is a book that is scary as shit. Basically, they're scientists, really reputable. Started out as very pro development of AI, and now said it's inevitable. We're all going to die. AI is going to kill us. I don't know about that, but again, another threat.
Well, if Trump has his way, he'll use it.
Well, that's why I brought it up, among other things. He commented, AI is bad. We got to take some. You use it all the time, dipshit.
Oh, they're going to use it. Believe me.
Well, they've used it. I mean,
by the way, can I mention that in Russia right now, they have closed down everything. I've been trying Ecamm to make connections. That you have to use something called Contour, which is a Russian program. You can't get anything, even on your smart TVs. Not even a chance with the VPN to get it. That's how bad it is. So do we go there? I mean, that's another show.
We keep saying, remember, Sinclair Lewis's book, Bloomed, It Can't Happen Here, which of course was a satire, meaning it can happen here. But here's the, it did happen here. It did. This show, if we had done it, I mean, when we did it, we knew that Trump was coming, right? I mean, last year at this time, I had no idea how bad it would be. One of the things that was funny, my granddaughter, I love her dearly, of course, as we all do our granddaughters, but she's very political and she's very radical, and that's kind of a cool thing. And so we were down there and we were talking, and she had designed, she had a group of small groups. She didn't have many friends because it's hard to be a radical liberal in Alabama. But a small group got together, and they did a bingo card for the year, and she was tabulating. I mean, and that's the thing about Trump. There were so many things, I just didn't have it on the bingo card. Do you realize that just think about this. We'll just pause for a minute, catch our breath. We'll just look at him internationally. He has said Canada should become our 51st state. We should take over Greenland. He has murdered, no other word for it, murdered Venezuelans on the high seas. There's no fentanyl. You can't get there with the boats they have. They can't get here. It's
I would
just
agree.
pure out murder.
Well, it's just
And
the
now-
distance is too great.
Exactly. You'd have
But
to be
Hegseth keeps saying that there is a danger, and
There's no danger.
of course they didn't
And-
show the video of the second, bombing of the boat.
Because they won't. And then on Christmas Day, what says Christmas more than bombing a country? And so we bombed Nigeria.
Right.
Now, if you look at all those, there's things there. I'm not real sure what Trump was thinking when he won the next
Well,
cabinet.
look, we know what Boko Haram does, and there is a genocide going on there. But why did he choose now? That's the only thing I have a question with. There's nothing wrong I have with
because
trying to protect Christians, but why now?
And the other thing is, Trump isn't doing it for any positive reason. Did you know Nigeria, I think, is 13th
I want to say that I think there is a legitimate issue with Boko Haram. They have killed a lot of Christians, and it's horrible. It's jihadism. But I just want to know why he chose it now.
I'm going to tell you, among other things. I think there's two reasons.
He could have done it earlier,
Well, no, I'm just saying. I think there's two reasons. One is, it is a wag the dog. It takes some of the light off of the Epstein files. But secondly, I did not know this. I think they're 12th or 13th in the world with oil reserves.
Oh, they're big time, yes.
Yeah, and you've got Venezuela, and it's about oil. I mean, it's a number of things.
So, in other words, you don't think that you think that the primary reason that Trump did it was not because of jihadism and to try to.
He can't spell jihadism.
Right.
Okay. Now, it's good.
I mean, we're all in agreement that there is jihadism in Nigeria.
No question.
Right.
No question. Okay. But
And that's
I
a
would say
problem.
this.
But
I
why?
would say this again, and I still believe this to a certain extent. It's not only what you do; it's why you do it. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not. But in this case, Trump is a racist. We know that. To him, it's just a bunch of black. So there's got to be. I think it's the two: wag the dog and oil. That's what I think. Or
Well, he
thirdly-
seems to benefit. Like, have you noticed, Dave, that like for example, the gas stations all around Bridgeton, the prices have gone down a lot, and while the rest of the prices have gone up. And to me, this is that deal with Saudi Arabia and the big oil companies. They're making Trump survive because otherwise the economy goes to shit. Because oil is still a lifeline, whether it's plastics or for fuel.
And I'll tell you somewhere else where it's going up.
Transportation.
If you look at my stock portfolio, which is not huge, right? I mean, but
Mine's zero.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do have stocks, and put them in, and I had a damn good year. So, is that what's important, or is it more important that hundreds and hundreds and thousands, and maybe literally millions of Americans didn't? That's more important than my having or not having a good year, because I tried to believe that I have some morality, I have empathy, but if you didn't, and I think again, Joe Biden made a terrible mistake by using that idea of the economy going up, because I don't think there's anyone who can go to a grocery store today and say that the economy is looking good. I don't see how you could do that. Anyone. Now the rich don't go, so that is true. Well, the clock's on the wall. People are telling us it's that time. So first of all, one of the nice things, sometimes it's overrated, but one of the nice things, the new year, it does give you a chance to start over a little bit if you can. Not everybody's in a position to do that. We make our resolutions and we break them. But I would hope that everybody's, or many people's resolution is, as I said before, to do everything within your power to bring Donald Trump to a halt and get him out of the White House. That's point one. Now, point two. This gets to Brian and my question, optimism. So I'll go first tonight, Brian, since usually you go first. I am much more optimistic this week than I was last week. And simply because I believe that history will one day look back on Christmas Day 2025 as another beginning, a key moment when Trump revealed that he can't make it. I think with the tweeting, with the things that are going on, I do not see. In fact, I don't see him. Well, who knows? He might live forever, but I don't think we might not even be having this discussion about him this time next year.
All right.
Now,
I hope
let's
you're
look at
right.
the other.
Because you weren't right about the
Here's
Eagles,
another.
but-
Here's another thing to think about, Brian. Too, is this: if, and it's the American public has an attention span of 3 seconds, but if you look at the past election, it was all in favor of the Democrats. If that blue wave does come, A, if we have an election, B, if it's run to the idea that, it's fair, or as fair as it can be, a blue wave, if we can get a hold of it, there were some really surprising results. And one happened to be in your state, which is not surprising, but they thought it was going to be close. It wasn't close. Not close as they thought. And actually, there were a lot of people who thought you'd have a Republican governor.
they watched the election, but you can't say the same places.
But the ones that you got to pick, Brian, look at these special elections that are being held. There's one, the Democrat candidate beat the Republican candidate in a voting district where Trump had won by 22 points. Mm-hmm. So all that stuff now, is it going to be easy? No. Are people going to suffer? Yes. Is it going to be pretty? No. But I'm going to go. What say you from last week to this week?
Just to sum up, I'm still going to carry the negativity. I don't think that I don't want to say there's any hope, but I just don't see any new real movement that would make me think that we're going to be going in the right direction. Because like I say, again, it's all about control. It's like in life. How much can you control in your life? And the more you can control, the better things go for you. And I think that essentially that's what's happening with that. I don't even call it a party, that regime. And I don't know how you get out of it, because again, we can't isolate ourselves now because of our history. There are other countries where things like this happen all the time.
Correct.
And this is, as you've said, this is really you can say the Civil War, but again, and I'll end where we began, is that this essentially is like the Civil War, except the South has the upper hand this time, and the South being...
at this point, if you're scoring the game, we're the Buffalo Bills. We're at the goal line. We can win the game.
Somebody watched the game.
No, I didn't. Okay. And we hold. And I think that's the thing, though, Brian, again, and I'm not trying to be optimistic, pessimistic. Right. All this does is we're just literally doing political.
Well, I'm going to give you one bit of credit before this show ends in a couple of seconds. Right. I'll say this, is that at least you didn't change parties like you did with the Phillies and the Giants.
Well, it's pretty hard to get
in the bottom of the ninth, you changed allegiances after all the years.
I used to have so much fun with that.
Actually, that was very funny when you did that. It was just you said, I like this team with the black uniforms.
Well, what I do, and I do that a lot. Like I would go to a Phillies game here, right, at the Nats, and if the Nats are winning, I say, I hate the Phillies. I've always hated the Phillies. Oh, wait a minute, I take that back.
Now, actually, you need that levity because it was so depressing with the Phillies. It's when Ryan Howard tore his Achilles and
it's
it
funny.
Horrible.
Our son, and now our grandson's into it. We are, I've moved into other areas, but once upon a time, I was as hooked on sports as they are. And fan base is a funny thing, but think about this. there's great analogies to be made between fan bases and MAGA. Okay, and look
Tribal.
how that's exactly right. But fan bases
Balkanized.
have turned. But fan bases have turned on their team.
Well,
And
that's a
maybe-
good point. Maybe like sports.
Maybe why did they? I mean, and that's more. Good night. Still watching.
And which we're going to have to do in a couple seconds, Dave.
Listen, Brian. A couple things, ladies and gentlemen. If you pray for that dog.
Yes,
because what'll-
please do.
What'll
Even on
happen
the
is
natives.
you may not know this, but Brian is a hell of a jazz and a good rock guitarist too. But he's now doing
I'm
artificial
more of a
music.
classical guitarist, but that's I appreciate. But I'm not
No,
like
it's-
pro
it's-
classical. I'm a lover of classical guitar, but
But the thing is, he's exposed me, and when I say exposed, it's just like radiation. It's just as deadly to some of the songs he's doing. And that poor dog. So what I'd like you all to do is, if you can get on Amazon or get to your store, please get doggy baffles for his ears, because that will be cruel and unusual punishment if Sammy Freddie has to listen to Brian's whatever that is that he claims is music. You got a taste of it if you're on early in the show, and that's some of the worst sounds.
all right. Well,
In
that
fact-
on that note, I will. I'll do my latest. This song is called Christopher Hitchens. So we'll end with that. So Dave, on
Okay,
that
sounds
note,
good.
You listen to it, and here we go.
Дым от сигарет кружится, катясь из споры, тонкий английский лед, под ним кипящее море. Рюмка на полпальца, и где-то усталая печень. Но он опять рвется в зал, как будто последняя встреча. Жесткое вино разума обжигает, но будет спящих каждое слово, как выстрел в зал, и не осталось священных щелей, где бы он тихо промолчал. Где-то в Багдаде жара тонет в сарказме и прозе. Он пишет, как режет ножом по мифам на белой бумаге. В студиях, в старых барах, в маленьких залах кампусов он ставит под роспись богов и веру сдает под авансом. Жесткое вино разума обжигает, но будет спящих каждое слово, как выстрел в зал, и не осталось священных щелей, где бы он тихо промолчал. Тело слабеет, голос сипит, но шутка выходит точнее. Он поднимает стакан и говорит: